Yeah. Way up.
Yo, what's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here on a Thursday. This is, today's Wednesday?
Thursday.
Oh, why'd you look like you said Wednesday?
So Halloween.
Oh, Halloween. Yes, I was going to get to that. That's my producer Dan.
Yeah.
It is Halloween. There's so much candy floating around the studios.
It's your dream come true.
I'm not going to lie. Halloween and Valentine's Day and Easter, I just love because I love the candy. But there's certain candies that I used to like that I no longer like Peeps. You know, I realized that I can't eat Peeps anymore because those aren't good for you. Come on in, guys. It's Halloween. Look, here comes some trick-or-treaters. Notori and Two Lewis. Trick-or-treat. But yes, we are going to get the show started. We actually, because the elections are coming up on Tuesday, we have the Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, Tahisha Way, is going to be joining us today. Okay. And we got a Jersey girl in the room. Also, and of course, we're going to start the show off with some love, with some positivity. Let's shine a light. 800-292-5150. Call us up and let us know who you would like to shine a light on.
I'ma shine.
Turn your lights on, y'all.
Turn your lights on.
Spreading love to those who are doing greatness.
Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them.
It's time to shine a light on them.
It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here, and it's time to shine a light, spread some love and some positivity. And today I want to shine a light on Chef Eric Ajapong. He is going to be debuting his new restaurant in January 2025. It's called Almina. He was on Top Chef and the Food Network. He became an author. He also has his own dinnerware collection, and now he is finally opening his own restaurant. It's going to feel like West African culture and music. Each section of the dining room is themed around different commodities of West Africa. So it'll have street foods and spice plantains with ground nuts, meat skewers, Ghanaian classics like fufu, light soup, jollof, of course, and a 4-course tasting menu as well, with family recipes and more refined dishes. So congratulations to star chef Eric Ajapong for opening an upscale restaurant in DC in January. That's a huge, huge undertaking. All right, Dan looks excited because he's a foodie. Always a foodie. All right, well, 800-292-5150. Shay, how are you?
I'm a little sad.
Okay, well, talk to me. Who do you want to shine a light on?
My friend, her name was Mimi. I just recently found out this morning that she passed away last week from her health problems.
Oh.
But I just wanted the world to know, even though everyone don't know her, that she was an angel on this earth with a heart full of gold, and that she will very much so be missed.
Oh, my gosh. First of all, I am sending you my condolences, my love, a warm hug, just because I know that's not easy, Shay. And shout out to Mimi. I know this is something that's been weighing on you. We appreciate you for calling and spreading the word about Mimi. And to all her friends and family, we want to give our deepest condolences.
Thank you so much, Eve.
All right. Well, thank you, Shay.
Have a good one.
You too. Man, I appreciate when people are able to call up here and share things like that. So shout out to them. And when we come back, we have your Yeetie and Drea Michelle. She doesn't very often respond when people speak on her, but she is responding to Laura Govan's remarks about her on Carlos King's podcast. We'll tell you what she had to say on social media, kind of explaining everything. All right, it's Way Up. Yeetie is next.
Way up.
Just like to talk like they Angela Yee, like they Angela Yee.
Man, she's spilling it all. This is Yee T.
Way up.
It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here today getting the Yee Tea ready. My producer Dan is here too, ready to weigh in. So first, let's talk about Drea Michelle. She has responded to Laura Govan's interview with Carlos King on his podcast, Reality with the King. Now, if you recall, Laura Govan says that she did end up having to beat Drea up. Here's what she said happened.
At the time, they brought her on Basketball Wives as a friend, if I'm not mistaken, to my sister. And guess what? I liked her. I had no idea that she was there being Gilbert's jump off. And I saw that he had given her $25,000 and brought her to LA. And I remember going to where she was filming here in Hollywood down the street. And I walked past everybody and I beat her.
All right. Well, Drea, who normally doesn't respond, right? She just be minding her business, went on social media to clear things up because this definitely went viral. She said, I didn't mess with anyone's husband. Let's be clear that no one was married. Let's also be clear that the interactions I had with him were years before I was on the show. I did not know her then. And I also did not know her when I agreed to be on the show or her sister. I didn't even know either of them were going to be on the show. So to say the word friend is a huge stretch. I agreed to go on the show and pretend to be friends with a girl named Gloria, who I did not know was sisters with her. And at the time, even if they would have said her sister, I still wouldn't have known because I didn't know her. I don't come to social media and bash people. I didn't always have the conscience that I have today. With that being said, I will keep most of what I'm saying polite. And then she went on to say that she brought comedic relief to the show. It was the highest ratings when she was on it. She brought a breath of fresh air. She also said timelines aren't timing. And she said, I don't get on the internet and tell my side of the story often because I respect the fact that it's not only my side. I give a lot of people grace by being quiet and not sharing. All of my dirty laundry was aired on the show. And when I say all, I mean all. I have been called some of the worst things on national TV. I'm almost at the end, but I will say my storyline carried the show, carried. And then she goes on to say she's not a victim. I'm never a victim. I am a victor. So if you'll excuse me, I will get back to my very normal, non-reality TV related, multifaceted life. What'd you think, Dan?
At some point, you got to defend yourself.
Yeah.
I get it.
I understand also not doing that because a lot of times it makes a story bigger. But in this situation, I guess she's like, the way you're telling the story is not true. People were looking at it like they were still married. She's saying they weren't even together anymore. She didn't know them. They weren't friends at the time. So, you know.
What do you think? You're someone that usually doesn't respond when there's public stories about you.
I think for her right now, because, you know, she just had a baby. She's off the grid. She has been minding her business. I can understand sometimes wanting to just say what you have to say and then go away. And, you know, maybe one day I'll do that if there's a book involved. All right. Now, the LA County DA is pushing for the governor to give the Mendez brothers clemency. He strongly supports their request, and they filed legal documents Tuesday asking the governor, Gavin Newsom, to grant clemency to his clients. They said it's also significant because over the weekend, Newsom dropped a podcast where he said this is obviously some new compelling evidence that was introduced. So if he does give them clemency, there'll be no need for a court hearing and they would be free instantly.
You think they should be free?
I'm going to tell you the truth. I did not watch the documentary. I watched the series.
Right.
And I've heard that people say the documentary is way different. You know, my friend Chella was watching the series with me. She was like, free them. Then she watched the documentary and she wasn't as sure. What do you think?
I also did not see the documentary.
That's my problem. So I don't want to make a judgment on it until I see. But it is compelling new evidence that wasn't admitted before. And, you know, this is him saying to his cousin in a letter that their father touched him. And then there's somebody else that said the father did the same thing. So that does feel like new evidence.
Right.
All right. Well, when we come back about last night, that's where we discuss what we did last night. You know what I did? After I went out to the Barclays, I discussed that. I went right home to watch Love is Blind. And if you did too, then stay tuned. It's way up.
So, about last night. Here's how it went down.
What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and it is time for About Last Night. So I definitely had a very active night last night. I was at the Barclays first and foremost, and what I was doing at the Barclays is there's a Just Brooklyn event that we were having, giving away a Just Brooklyn prize that comes from the Joe and Clara Sy Foundation for their social justice fund. And what we did was give away grants, $20,000 grants to 5 different organizations that are champions in the fight for social justice in Brooklyn. And so that was amazing. I gave the recipient, Carolyn A. Butts, her Just Brooklyn prize. And with that $20,000, it's not allocated to anything. They can use it for whatever they want. So even if you're like, I haven't been on vacation in 3 years, I can use some of that money for that. There's no strings attached. So that was amazing. So shout out to Carolyn A. Butts, who's the founder and director of African Voices and Real Sisters of the Diaspora Film Festival Lecture Series. And everybody else who won their prizes last night: Chino Harding, Christine Yvette Lewis, Derek Hamilton, and Nanaj Raoul. All right. Then I went home and I had to watch Love is Blind, the reunion show. I was like, as soon as I get home, put that right on the TV. There are a lot of things going on. And we'll talk about some of this during the rumor, during, what do I call it? Yeetie. I couldn't even think of it. Yeah. During Yeetie, we'll talk about Tyler and Ashley. But right now, I want to focus on a different couple. I want to focus on what was happening with Alex and Tim. Now, the two of them broke up. They had, I think, when they got engaged, Tim going to talk to Alex's father and reading that letter and getting his approval, and then so on and so forth. I was shocked when they went through their breakup. And so the two of them were explaining what happened. Tim had a problem with the fact that Alex did not stay awake and tend to his parents the way that he felt she should have. She took a nap after they drove hours to get there. And here's what happened at the reunion.
What we bonded over most was how much we love our family. The entire time we met, she wanted me to show her father some respect and love. So she asked me, and I showed up for her family. I felt like when it was my turn, it wasn't returned. And she said she has to work, which is fine. I get it. Everybody makes a living.
To sit here and try to be like, oh, I have so much respect for you, but you broke up with me because of allegedly a nap or I didn't do the dishes.
All right. Now, I want to ask what you guys think about this, because just to expand further on it, right? Like Tim said, family was everything. His parents drove 10 hours to meet Alex for the first time. The meeting went well, but he said he was upset that she took a nap instead of spending more time with his parents during their visit. And she said, I get tired. I like to take naps. And he said he was not okay with her decision to nap. And so that's what made them break up. Now, what do you think? Is there any justification? I mean, it is a marriage. And if you see a red flag and maybe you feel like it was disrespectful, they drove 10 hours, and she took a nap, and you're like, that's not the type of person I want to be with. Who do you side with on this situation, Tim or Alex? All right. 800-292-5150. Call us up and let us know what you think. Who do you side with, Tim or Alex, when it comes to what happened on Love is Blind and the reason why they broke up? It feels like it was still kind of open-ended when they had the reunion together. He felt how he felt. He felt that she didn't show his parents the respect after they drove 10 hours, and she just felt like he was being a D. All right, 800-292-5150. Call us up and pick a side. It's way up.
It's not just right or wrong. It's about what you believe. It's time to pick a side and stay there.
It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and it's time to pick a side. Now, I know a lot of us do watch Love is Blind. The reunion was on last night. My producer, Dan, has not yet seen it.
Not entirely.
Not entirely. But one thing that was an ongoing issue this season, Tim and Alex, it felt like they were going to have an ideal relationship. We saw when Tim went and read that letter to Alex's father and was accepted by the family. And then the tables got turned and Alex had to meet Tim's parents. They drove 10 hours to come meet her for the first time, and she went to sleep. Here's what happened on the reunion.
What we bonded over most was how much we love our family. The entire time we met, she wanted me to show her father some respect and love. So she asked me, and I showed up for her family. I felt like when it was my turn, it wasn't returned. And she said she has to work, which is fine. I get it. Everybody makes a living.
To sit here and try to be like, oh, I have so much respect for you, but you broke up with me because of allegedly a nap or I didn't do the dishes.
All right. Well, we want to know who is right and who is wrong here. Pick a side, Tim or Alex. Melissa, pick a side.
Oh, definitely Tim. We're in the beginning of a relationship. Family is important. We've already expressed that. Mm-hmm. Go to work tired tomorrow.
Right. You know what I want to say, too, and this is something I didn't mention when I was talking about it. He does have two sisters who died.
Exactly. And she knows that. She wears that bracelet in honor of his sisters.
Right.
And yet you took a nap.
And
15 years we've been married, then you take a nap.
Right. No, I feel you. I would have stayed up. If that was me, I would have had some coffee uplifts people, and I would have been awake.
Exactly. Oh, I'm with you on that.
All right. Well, thank you for your opinion.
Have a great day.
You too. Hey, Jemani, what's up?
Hi, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Do you watch Love is Blind?
Yes, I do.
All right. So Tim and Alex, I want to know what your thoughts are. They broke up after she did not stay awake, after his parents drove for 10 hours.
I'm leaning towards the lady. Perfection is an illusion, and nobody's perfect.
Okay.
And basically, he was looking for a doorway to get out of the relationship and found one with that.
Okay. I do feel like he's very stubborn. You know, like it has to be his way or nothing. And she was trying to explain herself. He wasn't trying to hear it.
Yeah, he was looking for a doorway.
Because if he was really in it, he would have fought.
What happened to your voice? Thank you, Jumani.
You're very welcome.
What the was that? Hey, Lauren, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
So I want to ask you, what did you think about Tim and Alex and their interaction? He was upset. His parents drove 10 hours. And he said while the cameras was rolling, she was great. But as soon as the cameras went off, she went to sleep and did not stay up after the parents drove 10 hours to meet her. What do you think?
Okay, so I think they both were in the wrong, only because Alex go to work. She needed to take a nap, but she should have communicated that to him. They should have just communicated better. The communication is the biggest thing. So I think they both were, that hurt.
They both handled the situation wrong, and then he was not trying to hear her when she was explaining herself.
At all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Logan.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? What did you think about Love is Blind, Tim and Alex? He was upset that she went to take a nap when his parents drove 10 hours to meet her the first time. Who do you think was right or wrong?
Oh, she was absolutely wrong. It's the respect thing.
Mm-hmm.
She could have taken a nap later. But at the root of it, there were some more issues going on underlying. But you don't take a nap when your partner's parents are visiting.
Right.
Especially when they've driven 10 hours.
Maybe you just accidentally fall asleep on the couch, and that's it. Yeah.
Exactly. If out of courtesy, if they saw you falling asleep, then they may say, well, go get some rest. But you don't just leave and go take a nap.
All right. I agree with you on that. I definitely would have been up, like, no matter what. I would have tried.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Well, it feels like, according to our listeners, we were split. Should I be the tiebreaker? Should I be Kamala Harris, the VP? I'm going to say that in that particular situation, I do believe that Alex was wrong for not trying to stay up. But I think that how Tim addressed it was wrong. And so it still is kind of tied because they were both wrong. But in that one situation, Alex was more wrong than he was. And then after that, it was kind of a red flag for both of them to not be together. All right. Well, when we come back, we have your Yeetie. We'll talk some more about Love is Blind because, of course, Tyler and Ashley also had their issues, but they still made it down the aisle. And a lot of people are torn on how they feel about him. And we'll also talk about Akon and what he has going on, kind of a fast food restaurant and maybe a hit song with Nicki Minaj. It's Way Up.
Yo, she about to blow the lid up off this pot. Let's get it. Oh, yeah. Angela's spilling that Yee tea. Come and get the tea.
It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee. My guy Dan is here with me today. And let's get into some Yeetie. So Love is Blind. One of the biggest things that happened this season was with Tyler and Ashley. People were trying to figure out, does Tyler have children that he hasn't revealed? He had said he was a sperm donor. He also did lie and say he ain't know them kids, right? He didn't think those kids knew who he was. But then there were pictures of him that he had scrubbed off the internet of him with said children who he claims didn't know him. Dan, what were your thoughts when you saw Ashley basically defending Tyler? They did end up getting married on Love is Blind, and she's saying that she knew everything. She's not dumb.
Yeah, exactly. We only saw what the producer showed us. Mm-hmm. There was so much that happens behind the scenes, and it's like hard to believe that they didn't have that conversation.
All right. Well, here is what they had to say during the reunion.
Those kids, that family, they did not sign up for this. So what is happening now is I try to keep that from happening. Their birth certificates are online. Things that shouldn't be happening are now happening. And to get into the story, I did help a friend, and her wife started a family, but her wife ended up leaving her. So I stepped in. So there's pictures of me around. You'll see me around. And I played a part that became very shaky with a friend. But I do want to let people know Ashley knows all this.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because he said those kids didn't know what he looked like, but then there were pictures of them like in matching pajamas. That was the problem.
Yeah.
I think that made it all feel real shaky because that's a very unique situation. All right. Well, Ashley responded and said this.
Who do you think has better insight on what's going on, social media or me? So for people to imply that like she was blindsided, she didn't know, is like insulting to my intelligence.
All right. I also noticed for all you Love is Blind watchers that Ramses, it looks like he cut off his ponytails.
Mm-hmm. Thank God.
He was annoying. I'm sorry to say it, but Marissa seemed cool, and I felt like he did her dirty.
She dodged the bullet?
Yeah, she definitely does it, but her mom, though, was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Too. All right, well, anyway, that is Love is Blind. In case you haven't seen it, we won't give any more spoilers for you guys, but you should have watched it. All right, Akon was on with Bootleg Kev, and, you know, he's always talking about the different businesses that he has going on, and another thing that he is doing now, I actually really like this idea, because I love jollof rice, and I do love West African food. All right. Well, he is going to be opening up a fast food restaurant that's similar to Chipotle. Here's what he said.
The next one's going to be a jollof rice fast food restaurant. So it's going to be called jollof. It's going to be fast food like McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever. But that's more like African cuisine, but quick. Almost like Chipotle.
I love spicy African food.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
Yeah, I love a spicy jollof rice. All right, so I'm definitely here for that. Now, another thing that he said was that he has a potential hit song that he did back in 2017. Here he is saying this would be a smash hit today.
It was actually a record that I did with Nicki Minaj.
It never dropped.
It never dropped. But it was, I think, would have been probably one of my biggest pop records.
All right. Well, maybe now this is something that is going to end up coming out. Because I feel like Nicki be paying attention to a lot that's going on online. And we'll talk about that a little later as she caught up with Ray J. But Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, they have put out their track list for their album Missionary. And when I tell you there is a ton of special guests on this. I mean, Jhené Aiko's on here, BJ the Chicago Kid, Tom Petty. And Jelly Roll is on the album. Method Man and Smitty, 50 Cent and Eminem are on a song together called Guns and Smoke with them. You know, just a lot. So it looks like this is going to be really good. The release date was announced earlier this week. They also had a trailer. You saw all of that?
I didn't see the trailer.
All right. Well, that track list
check that out, yeah.
is now available, and you can look for the pre-release listing on Apple Music, as well as 15 songs on the album. All right. Well, that is your Yeetie, and when we come back, we have Under the Radar. These are the stories that are not necessarily in the headlines. They are flying under the radar, but you definitely need to know about them. It's Way Up.
In the news that relates to you. These stories are flying under the radar.
It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here, and it's time for Under the Radar. All right. Autism diagnoses are skyrocketing in the United States. The number of Americans diagnosed with autism jumped 175% between 2011 and 2022. And that is thanks to a surge in new cases among young adults, according to research. They said that there is a 450% increase in diagnoses among adults 26 to 34 years old, and female cases rose 315%. Boys are 4 times as likely to be diagnosed with autism compared to girls, but they said that gender gap is now starting to noticeably narrow. There is no cure for autism, but treatments like speech or physical therapy, behavioral interventions, or medications may help with symptoms. They're not sure what causes the condition, but some people have been exploring the effect of maternal infection during pregnancy, and they are also looking toward increased advocacy and education that may prompt more people to get themselves or their children screened. But overall, about 30 in every 1,000 children between the ages of 5 and 8 have an autism diagnosis. That's a lot, 30 in 1,000.
That is. I just hope none of these are misdiagnoses.
You know, it is true, the screening practices and...
Yes. It's like, oh, my kid isn't paying attention. Oh, he has
yeah, they
autism
said
or ADHD, or here's Adderall, here's, you know...
You know, they do say it's easier to identify autism in males than in females because men tend to exhibit more overt symptoms. Mm-hmm. But ADHD and autism are 2 different things.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But I've just heard stories about people being misdiagnosed for both of those.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, Trump and his allies are ramping up election fraud allegations in Pennsylvania.
Seen this playbook?
Yes, you have. And it's just like in 2020. They're spreading viral videos of supposed wrongdoing, and they're promising supporters a legal showdown. And they're saying this could be used to contest the results of the election if he loses. You know, they have this whole campaign where they're talking about... you know, the election being stolen already. It's called the Stop the Steal movement, and that has reemerged. And for months, activists have been priming Trump supporters to believe the only way that Donald Trump can lose is through fraud. And so they're laying out proposals to thwart a potential Kamala Harris victory. They're planning to challenge results in court, pressuring lawmakers to block election certification. They're encouraging protests. And they're saying things like January 6th is going to be really fun. Mm-hmm. So just be prepared for that. It's a scary time. All right, well, that is your Under the Radar. Now, you know we have the Way Up mix at the top of the hour. Plus, we have the Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, Tahisha Way, joining us today. She's going to talk to us also about the election. And there was record numbers for early voting in New Jersey. So we'll discuss that. It's Way Up.
They say it's truth in the rumors.
From industry shade to all the gossip, Angela's spilling that yee tea.
All right, it's Way Up with Angela Yee, and it is time for your Yee Tea. And let's do some Diddy updates on what's going on there. Now, the feds are saying that they did not get that video of Diddy beating his then girlfriend, Cassie. What they are saying is, in opposition to a motion that Diddy filed saying that he believes the government gave the video to the popular cable news channel back in May to CNN. And they're saying it's not true because we didn't even have it yet. According to prosecutors, federal agents had searched for the video early in the investigation, but it disappeared from the hotel server, and they didn't even see it again until CNN released the footage on May 17th, and they actually had to get it from there. So it's not possible, like Diddy's been claiming, that they're the ones who leaked this footage. Now, Diddy also has a lot of people who are accusing him, a lot of anonymous accusers who are filing lawsuits, but now at least one of them has to reveal their name, according to new legal documents obtained by TMZ. A woman who is suing Diddy for an alleged sexual assault that she says happened 20 years ago has to reveal her identity or her suit will be dismissed. Right now, she is a Jane Doe. Her lawsuit is one of the 120 lawsuits that's been filed in Texas by Tony Busby. But although the allegations are sensitive in nature, she has not shown she is entitled to remain anonymous. They said the woman is an adult who decided to file a lawsuit in which she accuses a famous person of engaging in heinous conduct approximately 20 years ago. So she has to file that complaint in her own name by November 13th, or that case will be thrown out of court. All right. Now, John Legend's longtime manager, Ty Sticklerius, is saying that she attended a Diddy party 27 years ago and is sharing her experience. She wrote a New York Times piece today about going to a New Year's Eve yacht bash in St. Bart's with her brother. She had just graduated from college, and she said at the party she recalls being directed into a bedroom by a man. She said she's not sure who the person was or if he was connected to Diddy, but she said that she started babbling nervously in response. To this day, I can't remember how I managed to talk my way out of that terrifying situation. Perhaps my brother's on this boat and he's probably looking for me. She convinced him to unlock the bedroom door and let her go. So she said she thought it was just an anomaly due to just one guy behaving badly at a drunken party, but since seeing all of these things that have come out, she has changed her mind. All right. A lot of things going on here. Oh, and Keke Palmer, you know, she is sharing her own experiences. She recently told People magazine that while she was a teenager starring on True Jackson VP, she was in a secret relationship with a 20-year-old man. She was only 15 years old at the time. She said, I was trying to balance between being really young, but also feeling quite mature. If I thought it was inappropriate, then I wouldn't have done it. Obviously, I shouldn't have been 15 dating no 20-year-old. But in my mind, I was like, I got a full-time job. Can't nobody understand me but a grown man. But he knew there was a lot of stuff that there's no damn way for me to understand at damn 15. So she just recently revealed that to People magazine. And she said it did take her years to understand that her romance with the older man, whom she didn't name, wasn't appropriate until she started dating her now ex-boyfriend, Darius Jackson. And she said until she experienced genuine love, that's when she realized that relationship was wrong. 15 dating a 20-year-old. What 20-year-old man would even want to date a 15-year-old? All right, Nicki Minaj and Ray J were on live together. We already know this was going to be a very lively, spirited conversation. Did you watch this live, Dan?
I did. I definitely did.
All right. Well, in one of these clips, she's asking him about what happened, and he details what happens with Diddy's kids.
This time, I think I got loud and got aggressive, but it was the third time it's happened. And so I felt like I needed to stand up for myself. Even though I was talking and we was having a lot of crazy words, I was walking that way to avoid the issue. And that's what happened. And it's unfortunate, but what's dope is that we all got on the phone. We talked for about 35 minutes.
You
don't care about the piece about it?
Well, they did piece it up, though. They got on the phone, so we found that out. And They talked for 35 minutes. All right, well, that is your Yee Tea. When we come back, we have Ask Yee. 800-292-5150 is a number. Call us up. Any question you have, I'm here to help you out. That's 800-292-5150. It's Way Up. Oh, we love this song. Kehlani, Jordan Adetunji is Way Up.
This one of the most famous women in radio. We're talking about Angela Yee.
You're Way Up with Angela Yee.
Please believe that.
It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here, and normally we would be doing Ask Yee here, but today we do have some breaking news, and I see this has been going crazy on social media. So Megan Thee Stallion, in her words, her 2-hour Amazon Prime documentary is available, and on here they're talking about a lot of different things. It actually came out today. She talks about her mom, who was her role model, her coach, her confidant, her number one fan. And she said that she now throws herself into work and partying in the wake of her mother's death. She said, I just keep being lit, thinking I get through the pain. She said 2020 was the worst year of her life. But she also admits that she lied when she was being interviewed by Gayle King on CBS Mornings in a 2022 interview. Now, here is what Megan Thee Stallion said on her documentary.
Yes, I lied to Gayle King. First of all, I didn't know that was even going to ask me about it, but you always want to talk about this shooting. Why'd you ask me about Tory? That's not what this is about. Even if I was like once, maybe twice on a drunk night, but you kept catching me out of my mind.
All right, so this is the first time she's saying that did indeed happen. And if you recall on the Gayle King interview, Gayle King did press her about whether she had a sexual relationship. Here's what happened in that interview.
Did you have an intimate relationship with him?
Like sexual?
Yeah.
I didn't have a sexual relationship with Tory.
So I guess she said what she's saying in this documentary is that it did catch her off guard, that question. And she also says that none of that justifies her being shot, and she did not deserve bullet wounds in her foot. So what do you think now that this has come out, Dan? Because she's maintained that they didn't have anything. There was a lot of rumors about what happened. Tory Lanez has said this, that they did have a sexual relationship.
She was definitely caught off guard. But I don't know. Haven't we all lied about having sex with someone before?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure everybody has. But I guess in this particular situation, because it's involving something that was so high profile.
It's also a legal case.
And a legal case, it makes it a little different. Because you know what sucks is that you could be caught off guard and you could lie about something. And when you do that one time, people think you lie about everything.
But this also doesn't have anything to do with...
It doesn't.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying now, and like if you look at the comments, perception sometimes is going to be, oh, you weren't honest here. Well, how do we know? And that's unfortunately how... people are. Like somebody could could lie about 1,000 things, tell the truth about one, and then people think you know everything and you're always telling the truth. It just works that way. Yeah. But I do think in her own words, in her documentary, finally saying this, this is something that she put out there, knowing, I'm sure, that people are going to have a lot to say about it.
And I'm sure her lawyers saw this before it went out too.
Right. So this is, her personal thing. But anyway, you guys can definitely call and weigh in for the last word. If you call up right now, we'll be taking your calls. We'll play it for last word. But when we come back, we have the Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, Tahisha Way, joining us. And we're going to be talking about early voting. She voted early the first day you could early vote. A lot of people voted early in New Jersey. I think across the board, a lot of people are taking advantage of early voting, as they should.
I voted early.
You voted early?
I did.
I'm meant to do it. I'm going to do it this weekend. I am going to vote early. All right. So 800-292-5150. We definitely want to hear what you have to say for last word. But Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, Tahisha Way, is up next. It's Way Up.
Turn it up. You vibing Way Up with Angela Yee.
Come right back.
More now.
What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and I am here with Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, Tahisha Way. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having me, Angela.
What are your thoughts now, seeing how the country and how people are reacting to the potential of having a black woman be president?
Yeah, well, I'm going to take off my Secretary of State hat, right? Because I have to, operate on a different lane with that one. But I can just say it brings such pride. I've been honored and blessed to serve as one of her campaign surrogates in the battlegrounds. Just making sure everyone understands who she is and what she can bring to the table. And I think that we're at a time in which we should not even be looking at the party, or even if this is a male, a person of color, a female. We should just be looking at who is the most qualified to lead. Who can set a standard, Angela, for our kids? I mentioned at that time when I was practicing, I was a county commissioner. I had 3 girls at that time. Now I have 4, and one is 10 years old. And you say to all of our kids, this is the highest position in the land. A standard should be set for our kids as to not only what can they become, but what you are supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do, how you are supposed to be treated others.
Right now, I am talking to Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, Tahisha Way.
I look at her qualifications, having been a district attorney, state attorney general, fighting the fight just for the common people, the everyday people, regardless of where you come from or who you are. I look at the standard of her
not having sexually assaulted anyone,
and not being a predator, right, and not tearing folk apart. And the thing about it is that if voters really look at her economic platform, it's for everyone,
right,
to make sure everybody can get ahead.
What are some of Kamala Harris's policies that matter to you the most?
I have 2 daughters who are older who have graduated. And, you look at them and, sometimes they have to think about, okay, I have to find a roommate nowadays, right?
Right.
In terms
or maybe
of
2 or 3.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And this is what our college graduates are facing. But, one of her policies is to make rental more affordable.
Even buying a home.
Exactly. That initial investment.
Student loan debt.
There you go.
That's a big one right there.
And so when you really think about all of her policies so that everyone can get ahead and just have the simple idea of being valued is, what she, and it speaks from the heart.
Tahisha Way is here with us, and we are talking about all things politics and making sure that you guys know that you can early vote starting now. The last day to vote is Election Day on Tuesday. More with Tahisha Way when we come back.
Yeah, what's happening? You want to know my name? Way Up with Angela Yee. Turn me on.
What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and I am talking to Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, Tahisha Way. I've heard people say that Donald Trump, the economy was better under Donald Trump, and they had more money in their pockets, and gas was cheaper, groceries were cheaper. What do you say when people say that?
People should not fall for misinformation out there. And I think that people really have to remember the times under his tenure. Economically, I don't think that we were better off. People say, oh, well, we received the checks, but everyone has to understand Congress was the one with Donald Trump just slapping his name on that check.
He actually didn't want that to happen. And Congress passed that and had those checks down. He actually delayed those checks so he could put his name on them.
Exactly. I look at how 300,000 Black Americans were taken off of the healthcare rolls, if you will, under his administration the first 2 years. That unemployment for African Americans was higher. And these are the things that, again, we must continue to get that message out because these are the facts.
Right now, I am talking to Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, Tahisha Way. Lastly, I saw you early voting. So we want to make sure that everybody knows to go out and vote. You can vote early.
Yes. So vote early.
Yeah, vote early if you can. Are you nervous about seeing stories about ballot boxes set on fire? And I thought about it. I'm like, what happens to those ballots that get destroyed after that? Because I feel like that can make people feel concerned. Like, well, I voted early and my vote got, my ballot got destroyed. Now what happens?
Yeah, I can't, speak about how every other state conducts their safety protocols or security protocols. I just know I'm loving the early vote records that we're setting in New Jersey. I also, I reassure voters, and from day one, ever since, I took office, I've sat down, and this is not partisan. It's with all of the governmental law enforcement and safety folk, from the FBI to Homeland Security, both federal, both state, both attorney general's offices, and also USPS IT folk, just making sure that we shore up the integrity of our infrastructure, and just making sure that, our ballot boxes, we always tell voters they're 24/7 surveyed, right? And that they can track their ballots, and to have like that open line of communication. This is a very consequential election, if not the most consequential election ever in our history. But at the same time, I still want to encourage voters to vote for the school board elections. I want them to vote for the fire district elections. Right. All of the local races too.
I tell people, before you go, look at who's on your ballot, and that way when you go, you know who's running, you know who you want to vote for, and look it up ahead of time, so that when you go there, you're not just like guessing or just picking something in a column. You know who your candidates are and who you're going to vote for.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Secretary of State of New Jersey, Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, and maybe one day Governor.
I focus on what I do.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, you guys. Make sure you get out and vote. Let's not play any games, y'all. You can watch that full interview on my YouTube channel with Tahisha Way on Way Up with Angela Yee. And when we come back, you guys have the last word.
Pick up the phone.
Tap in. Tap in and get your voice heard.
What the word is.
Here's the last word on Way Up with Angela Yee.
Yes, it's Way Up with Angela Yee. Happy Thursday. Happy Halloween, everybody. There's a lot of activity up here at iHeart, and I know people who are at work right now, people are dressed up around you, having a good time. There's a ton of candy up here in the studio right now. I actually am coming down off this candy high. We have, I think a lot of us in this room have a candy addiction. I will say that much. A lot of us in this room really enjoy it. But thank you everybody who called in today and talked about Love is Blind with us. That's fun. That's always a good time. Dan, you have to watch the full reunion tonight.
Yeah, it's because the Yankees were on. That's why, priorities.
Yeah. I saw Wendell Pierce was at the Yankees game. You know him from The Wire.
The Wire, right.
And he said never again. The fans were so rude, throwing things. He said he was talking to a Dodgers fan, and everybody got very angry and upset about that. That's crazy. All right. Well, anyway, of course, you guys, this is your show. We talked about a lot of different things. I know calls are still coming in about some of the topics. We talked about Megan Thee Stallion's documentary, which is out right now on Amazon. So make sure you guys check that out. But let's hear what y'all had to say, because again, like I said, this is your show.
Hey, Angela, this is L from Shy. I think Tim is right, because women like to put a lot of extenuating circumstances on men as far as when it comes to their family and how they're supposed to be treated and things like that, and how they want to be treated. I think that if the parents came down, drove 10 hours to get there, she could have spent a little bit more time. One nap would not have killed her to miss that day.
Hey, this is Joy. I want to shine a light on my husband, Raymond. He out on the road, driving his truck, making sure that me and the kids got a good life. Babe, I appreciate you, and I love you, and thank you so much for everything that you do.
Going way up, turn up with Angela Yee.